Good morning, students. Welcome to today's lesson on methods of teaching biology. We've learned a lot in the previous sessions. Now we are coming to learn assessing students' learning. When students are learning, how are we going to assess them? This lesson is session 5 of Unit 4. So by the end of this session, you'll be able to define assessment and then identify the forms of assessment. As a teacher, you should assess your students' learning and your own teaching. So this session will take a brief look at the various forms of assessment, and you do this in the course of your teaching. Now, when we say assessment, what is assessment? Assessment is the process of obtaining information that is used for making decisions about students, curriculum, programs, and educational policy. So, assessment will help us know what is happening our students on the curriculum, a program, or any educational policy. So, assessment is the process by which teachers make judgments about what their students have learned. So when you assess your students, you get to know that, okay, we have the average students, we have the below average, and then above average students. So assessment is a day-to-day tool in the classroom for monitoring learning and taking decisions about what to teach next. It's true. So it means that when you teach students and you assess them on a particular topic, and then you feel that topic based on the information you are getting from the assessment techniques, then you can say, or either you teach the topic again or you move to the next topic. All these things will be done based on the information you are getting from the students or the feedback from the students. So we are saying assessment is a day-to-day tool in the classroom for monitoring learning and taking decisions about what to teach next. Assessment provides information to teacher for the improvement of teaching. It's true. So sometimes when you teach a topic with a particular teaching strategy or teaching method, and then you assess the students and the feedback coming was not encouraging, you have to use a different teaching method or a teaching strategy. So in that case, it is telling you, the teacher, that the teaching strategy you used initially was not okay with the students, and therefore you have to use a different teaching strategy. Okay, so we were discussing the purpose of assessment. And then the first one is assessment helps instructors to understand students' incoming ideas. So with this one, we are trying to say that assessment conducted before instruction helps the teacher to identify the conceptions students bring to the class. So the teacher can then teach to eradicate such conception if they are misconceptions. So with this kind of assessment, when you the teacher, it is going to help you what students believe in or the misconceptions of students about a particular topic. For instance, students say genetics in biology is difficult. So when you assess students on that before you teach the topic, you will be able to do away with the misconceptions on the topic genetics. So the next point is assessment. The purpose of assessment is it helps instructors gauge student progress towards achieving course goals. So in the course of teaching, the teacher will assess students to identify whether students are meeting the instructional goals. And then we're also saying that it provides data on which instructors can base instructional decisions. So with this point, we are saying that assessing students can inform how the teacher should teach, what to teach, whether there should be remediation. Yes, that is true. So that is why we are saying that it provides you the teacher data on which instructors, on which you can base on to take a decision. So with this point, it is trying to tell us that assessment will inform you, the teacher, how to teach, what you should teach, and whether you should go back to what you taught or not. And the last point is assessment informs students about what they know and what they do not know so they can take action on their learning. So with this point, we are trying to say that students will get to know their strengths and weaknesses when the teacher assesses them. And then this will help the students to take the necessary actions as far as their learning is concerned. Okay, so that is the purpose of assessment. Now, we are going to discuss forms of assessment. Forms of assessment. So basically, we have two forms of assessment. That is the formative assessment and then the summative assessment. Now, with the formative assessment, it is a form of assessment that is conducted whilst the program is ongoing and it occurs during instruction. It occurs during instruction. So the formative assessment is a way of gauge student progress towards achieving lesson goals. So with the formative assessment, when you are teaching and then you give an exercise, you dialogue with the students, and students give you feedback. It's a form of formative assessment. Or after teaching, you give them class exercises. It's a form of formative assessment. So all those things guides you, the teacher, helps both the teacher and then the students as well. Now, summative assessment. Now, with summative assessment, what we're trying to know is that summative assessment is a form of assessment that occurs at the end of the instruction or a program. So it occurs at the end of the instructional period, and that one it demonstrates students' achievement of a course or instructional goal. So at the end of the semester, you have to assess the students, that is the general knowledge of the students on the topic, or let's say on the subject, on the subject. So when you teach students, say, molecular genetics, and then we are assuming that the whole term you taught molecular genetics in elective biology. So that topic will be, you set questions to assess students on the general knowledge on molecular genetics. So that one serves as a summative assessment at the end of the term. So we've learned a lot in this session. We've learned about the purpose of assessment, what is assessment, we've learned about the types of or forms of assessment. So before we end the lecture, I want you to review what we've learned. So by reviewing what we've learned, I want you to answer these questions. Define assessment and then identify the forms of assessment. I believe when you find answers to these questions, it means you've understood the whole session.